Eh bien, bienvenue aux sessions télévision NTN avec nous ici à Caïconsit, qui a mené en direct exactement ça qui a passé ici à Jodia. C'est journée, Jodia, c'est 16 décembre, avec ça, c'est une journée qui a chaque activité en Parlement, avec quand nous sommes ici à plus bonne Jodia, les Caïconsit, ça c'est différents membres du Parlement, et bien différentes branches du Parlement, c'est là avec Caïconsit pour être sermenté pour une position comme membre du Parlement. Avec, après ça, ils ont fait ça différent, et après ça, ils ont reçu ensemble. Ça c'est en commission par gouverneur général Saint-Lucie, c'est Excellence Cyril Harold Charles, avec Jodia. Après ça, en fait, c'est différents branches aller avec ça qui est fait à présent, nous avons préparé pour la première session Parlement, côté nous avons discuté avec le Parlement, ça c'est nous avons parlé du 16e Parlement, 13th Parliament, et ça c'est la première session Parlement. Nous avons dit bon matin aussi, qui Parlement qui a construit et qui a fait après chaque élection générale avec tous les budgets qui ont été pour une différentes sessions qui ont créé. Avec Jodia, c'est encore mon cadeau, c'est la première session en 13e Parlement. Saint-Lucie et le Parlement a commencé depuis le pays à venir indépendant en 1979. Pour les romances, vous dites celle-ci avant d'aller plus loin, si vous dites ici et puis moi, vous êtes dit quelque chose en anglais.
Or patois. Afternoon viewers, or patois. Yes, I was just taking a look at the order paper, which is what we are, is what will be happening this afternoon. I think there are two motions which will be tabled by the Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Justice, National Security, Constituency Development and People's Empowerment. And taking a look at motion 1, it reads that Parliament, by affirmative resolution, will approve the draft value-added tax amendment order, which would amend Schedule 1 of the Act to include as zero-rated goods on the 22nd of December 2025 a supply of goods for which transactions are completed on that date by a taxable person specified by the controller, except the following. So basically this is the tax-free day which the Prime Minister had promised prior to the December 1st elections, and I think this motion will be tabled here this afternoon. Also, motion 2 reads that Parliament, by affirmative resolution, approves the draft value-added tax amendment Schedule 2 order, which amends Schedule 2 of the Act to delete exempt supplies of certain goods. And as the afternoon goes on, there's a list of those goods that we will go through, Michael, including chicken and meat and potatoes, tomatoes, onions, and the like. So we do look forward to the full details of the VAT-free day. I think we could say, just based on the motion that is there, it would be on the 22nd day of December. And so we look forward to the discussion on that. There is also a bill which would be done for the first reading, and it is the Land and House Tax Amendment, and it is down for a first reading, also to be tabled by Prime Minister and the Minister for Finance, Honorable Philip Pierre.
Ok, oui, merci Virgil. Virgil dit nous là, c'est qui ça qui a discuté aujourd'hui, nous ça il a créé. Quand nous avons mentionné ça plus bonheur, ça c'est un taxe VAT sans paiement, puisque le gouvernement fait, ça c'est le Premier ministre, durant le temps il était campagne, il a fait campagne, il a fait annoncement que la campagne en journée pour en bonus, pour assister Jean-Pays, pour aider Jean-Pays particulièrement, et puis situation, ça nous a dit situation, prix marchandises qui est tellement haut. Le Premier ministre a décidé pour tirer VAT sur certains produits. Dans ces produits, il emmène là, en chaque monde pour que c'était tout bagaille, mais il a dit que c'est la paganie de VAT sur bagaille qu'on faisait paganie VAT sur plusieurs différents bagailles avec machine. Mais nous avons chargé à la porte là, avec un speaker à suivre, nous avons commencé à présent.
Let us pray. Almighty God, by whom alone kings reign and princes decree justice, and from whom alone cometh all counsel, wisdom, and understanding, we, thy unworthy servants, here gathered together in thy name, do most humbly beseech thee to send down thy heavenly wisdom from above, to direct and guide us in all of our consultations. And grant that we, having thy fear always before our eyes, and laying aside all private interests, prejudices, and partial affections, in the result of all of our counsels may be to the glory of thy blessed name, the maintenance of true religion and justice, the safety, honor, and happiness of the King, the public weal, peace and tranquility of St. Lucia, and the uniting and knitting together of the hearts of all persons and estates within the same, in true Christian love and charity, one towards another, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, and the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Ghost be with us all evermore. Amen. Announcements. Members, I beg to report I have received excuses from the member for Vieux-Fort North and the member for Micoud South. Statement from ministers. Motion, Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion standing in my name. Be it resolved that Parliament by affirmative resolution approves the draft value-added tax amendment of Schedule 1, Number 3 order, which amends Schedule 1 of the Act in Item 2.1 to include as zero-rated goods on the 22nd day of December 2025, a supply of goods for which transactions are completed on that date by a taxable person specified by the Comptroller, except the following: orders for goods not in stock, the supply of motor vehicles, the supply of guns and ammunition, the supply of tobacco products, the supply of alcoholic beverages, and the import of goods. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that it wasn't a Monday, Mr. Speaker, but it was some day in November, I proclaimed in Soufrière that the country would be receiving a VAT-free day. At the time I made that pronouncement, Mr. Speaker, there were people who doubted, but the electorate believed, and that is why there are 6 of us here this morning. Mr. Speaker, as you know, the VAT laws in St. Lucia cannot be amended without an affirmative resolution in the Parliament. So what we're doing today, Mr. Speaker, is we are amending the value-added tax, Schedule 1, number 3, to proclaim the 22nd of December, which is Monday, as the VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker. So Monday, the 22nd of December, will be the VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker. That means, Mr. Speaker, that the entire public, if they purchase from businesses that are involved, will have basically a 12.5% discount on everything that they buy, except the following goods, Mr. Speaker. Alcohol and tobacco, motor vehicles, gasoline, LPG and diesel, guns and ammunition, and cigarettes, Mr. Speaker. Services not ordinary, zero rated, including but not limited to professional services, legal fees, restaurant supplies, rent tickets for the games of chance, lottery raffles, top-ups, phone plans, phone cards, internet, and cable. Sales by accommodation providers and other providers in the tourism sector, and imports of goods and services, Mr. Speaker. These are the only goods and services that are not legible or are ineligible for the VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker. Everything else, Mr. Speaker, everything else, once they are purchased, they are eligible. So stoves, televisions, clothes, carpets, food, Christmas tree, everything that you buy locally except these items, Mr. Speaker, are you pay no VAT, Mr. Speaker. And I know many people are asking about hire purchase. It is legible for a VAT-free if you can complete the purchase in one day. So if you can go at court, so go wherever you go at Massey, and you can complete in one day, pay your deposit, sign your sales agreement, it's going to be tax, it's going to be VAT-free, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that is not the only relief that the people of St. Lucia will get, Mr. Speaker. Cabinet late in October, I suspect, or early November, we amended the Income Tax Act, Mr. Speaker, which will increase allowances and will cause people in the middle income bracket to get a relief in income tax, Mr. Speaker. We'll be coming to Parliament before the end of this session to amend the Income Tax Act to make that possible. More relief for the people of St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the government made a few promises to the electorate, and we intend to fulfill these promises. We intend to fulfill them systematically, and we intend to fulfill them with transparency, saying to the public of St. Lucia what we are going to do and how we are going to do it, Mr. Speaker. So this VAT-free day, 22nd of December, is just one small step where we are saying to the public that a promise is a debt, and we made a promise, and we intend to keep that promise, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the 19th of December, I think, the official, the Ministry of Finance can correct me if I'm wrong, the public servants in this country will also get their bonuses. And their bonuses this year will be extended to some statutory boards. The bonuses will be extended to some statutory boards, Mr. Speaker. And also the workers who have been made permanent, over 1,000 of them, who were on contract all their life. Mr. Speaker, and I want you to just give me a few minutes to speak about what that means to the people, Mr. Speaker, because he who feels it most knows it, Mr. Speaker. There are people in this country who, when they got their salary at the end of the month, their take-home pay was less than $100. Because when they had to go to financial institutions to get loans, to put a piece on their house, or to buy a car, the only basis on which the financial institutions made that loan available to them is if they could meet the payment within their contractual period. So if your contract was at 24 months, the bank used to ensure, or the credit union, that your payments fit in the 24-month cycle. So that means that for 24 months, these people used to have to go to their homes with $100 a month, sometimes 150, sometimes even 90, Mr. Speaker, because they wanted to put a piece on their house, Mr. Speaker. So when the government decided to make that step, Mr. Speaker, and other people tried to ridicule it, they did not understand what he who feels it most knows it, Mr. Speaker. He who feels it most knows it. And we were very pleased that these people could now, they got a new breath of life, in that they could go to the financial institution and say that they had a permanent job, that they would retire at the NIC age. So then their loans could have been dealt with in that manner, Mr. Speaker. And I'm very happy to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that another island in the Caribbean that shall remain unnamed, only today will give to their workers a Christmas gift, Mr. Speaker, of making them permanent. But the people of St. Lucia gave us a gift before, on the 1st of December. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask members to support the VAT-free day on the 22nd of December, Mr. Speaker, and look forward to the changes in the Income Tax Act, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate you on being elected without ballots. But I want to really, I think you have been performing in a manner, speaking of the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. So I want to congratulate you and use the opportunity to congratulate the President of the Senate, Mr. Speaker. So we look forward to a very interesting parliamentary session, Mr. Speaker. Hopefully there'll be no empty seats, and we hope that we can have a lively debate in this parliament, because every one of us in this room was sent to the parliament by people. People send us here, Mr. Speaker. And when people send us, when the people give us an instruction, we have to follow the instruction, Mr. Speaker. The people have sent me here 7 times. But, Mr. Speaker, the most fulfilling part of that 7 times was when I saw in a ballot box somebody got 4 votes, Mr. Speaker. I'll count it for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mr. Speaker, that was one of my most rewarding times representing people, Mr. Speaker, when I was no longer a piece of cake, but the people, 4 people, went into the ballot box, Mr. Speaker, and cast their vote, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Prime Minister, your microphone. Honourable members, the question is that Parliament, by affirmative resolution, approves the draft value-added tax amendment of Schedule 1, Number 3, order, which amends Schedule 1 of the Act in Item 2.1 to include as zero-rated goods on the 22nd day of December 2025 a supply of goods for which transactions are completed on that date by a taxable person specified by the Comptroller, except the following: A, orders for goods not in stock; B, the supply of motor vehicles; C, the supply of guns and ammunition; D, the supply of tobacco products; E, the supply of alcoholic beverages; and F, the import of goods. The member for Labrie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for granting me leave to make a minor intervention on what is before us, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, before I do, please permit me to renew my commitment, like my predecessor, to rise to the highest traditions of parliamentary decorum throughout my stay in this honorable House, Mr. Speaker. I want to commend you for guiding our deliberations over the years with great dexterity, Mr. Speaker. And there is no doubt in my mind that you will continue to be an impartial arbitrator in dealing with the proceedings of this honorable House. In keeping with this theme of thanks, Mr. Speaker, I do not believe that I would be out of my jurisdiction to indicate that I am very grateful to the people of Labrie Oje for making me, for the 5th time, the instrument of their wishes. And this time, Mr. Speaker, by giving me 81.2% of the votes in my constituency. And it must be placed on record, Mr. Speaker, that this was the highest percentage in this general elections, Mr. Speaker. It is a clear manifestation of the confidence in my ability to lead them. And, Mr. Speaker, I have just started my 5th term, and they have already pledged to increase that margin come next elections, Mr. Speaker. In fact, it reminds me of what the great Bokowen used to say, Ipoko mem dusi ijadu. Having said so, Mr. Speaker, I take the floor to give my full and unqualified support to this resolution. This government has kept its word, Mr. Speaker, to the people of St. Lucia. This resolution, which approves the draft value-added tax amendment of Schedule 1, Number 3 order, is not accidental, Mr. Speaker. It is not improvised. It is not reactionary. It is the fulfillment of a clear commitment made to the St. Lucian people before the last general election, a commitment to ease the cost of living, especially at Christmas, Mr. Speaker, and to put people first. During Christmas, we commemorate the birth of the Prince of Peace. It's generally a very forgiving period and a very profound season where people get together, people pool their resources, and try to celebrate that particular birth. Christmas is a time of joy, Mr. Speaker. But for many families, it can also be a time of financial strain. This government understands that reality. That is why this resolution provides for the zero rating of VAT on goods purchased on the 22nd of December 2025 with clear rules, clear oversight, and responsible exclusions. Mr. Speaker, while this particular measure is temporary, it forms part of a wider and deliberate set of policies implemented by this government to alleviate the burden of the cost of living on St. Lucian household. These measures include, Mr. Speaker, the zero rating of VAT on a number of essential goods, the removal of the service charge, and the removal of import duties on those goods. Interventions specifically designed to reduce prices at the point of sale and to provide sustained relief to consumers. This relief, Mr. Speaker, is targeted at everyday goods and specifically exclude motor vehicles, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and imports. Mr. Speaker, this is deliberate. This is responsible governance. Mr. Speaker, this measure is also complementary to other targeted interventions implemented during the Christmas season, including the provision of duty-free concessions on barrels imported for the holidays, Mr. Speaker. Our government approved the following exemptions in relation to import of personal items, food, clothing, toys, and other household consumables contained in barrels for the period commencing from the 15th of October 2025 and terminating on the 28th day of February 2026. Together, Mr. Speaker, these measures ensure that families, both at home and abroad, are better able to support loved ones, reduce household expenses, and prepare for the festive season with greater ease. Before the elections, we promised cost of living relief, targeted VAT concessions, and direct support for households during difficult economic times. This resolution is yet another promise fulfilled, Mr. Speaker. This VAT relief does not stand alone. In November, this government delivered a bonus to government pensioners, men and women who gave decades of service to this country. And as Prime Minister indicated a few moments ago, on the 19th, this December, this government will deliver a bonus to public officers, recognizing the service and injecting additional income into the economy at a critical time, Mr. Speaker. So if we take that together, those things are conspiring to create great relief for the people of this country. VAT relief at the cash register, the removal of service charges and import duties, duty-free barrel concessions, and direct income support. These actions form a coherent and deliberate Christmas cost of living package designed to put real relief into the hands of St. Lucian families. This resolution, Mr. Speaker, also supports local retailers and small businesses by encouraging consumers to buy locally and strengthening domestic economic circulation. Mr. Speaker, this is responsible, time-bound relief, balancing compassion with fiscal discipline. This government promised, this government delivered. We are not a government of talk, we are a government of delivery. We do not make empty promises, we make progress. And we will continue to put the people of St. Lucia first, Mr. Speaker. And as I prepare to conclude, I want to wish all members of this Honorable House a very joyous season, a very healthy and responsible period, and of course effect a proper entry into 2026 because we have work to do, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I fully support this resolution, and I now yield the floor, Mr. Speaker.
The member for Grizzly.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to lend support to this resolution on the VAT amendment. Mr. Speaker, I do so and I rise proudly as yet again the parliamentary representative for Grosley, Mr. Speaker. I'm indeed grateful and very proud of what we've accomplished in this constituency. And I want to once again thank the people, thank the Honorable Prime Minister and the Cabinet who lent support to Grosley over the last 4.5 years. Mr. Speaker, this amendment proves further that the 7-star general from the East is a man of his word. And when he makes a proclamation, you can truly put it in your pipe and smoke it, Mr. Speaker. And so, as a representative for Grosley, I know having the most populous constituency, of which most of them would be public servants, I am sure that they will be overwhelmed with joy come Thursday when they enjoy their bonus from this government, Mr. Speaker. And then, Mr. Speaker, on the 22nd of December, a VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me just take this opportunity to also congratulate other individuals from the various sectors that are benefiting from the work of this government. I want to congratulate the Leclerc football team, Mr. Speaker, who once again reigned supreme and became champions of semi-professional football in St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, quite apart from getting this VAT amendment and a VAT-free day, and their public servants getting a bonus, these individuals walked away with $35,000, Mr. Speaker, and along with their monthly amount given to them for playing semi-professional football in St. Lucia. Congratulations to Leclerc, Mr. Speaker. I would also like to congratulate, Mr. Speaker, the Viewfort team, Mr. Speaker, a team who came from the dungeons, from the bottom of the 2nd division, made it all the way to 1st division, and now they can enjoy the prize money of finishing 2nd in our semi-professional football league. And I know the member for Viewfort South was in there with his fans and is extremely happy, Mr. Speaker. Also want to congratulate the member from Ancillary Canneries. Canneries finished 3rd in this competition, and so they would have walked away with some prize money and their monthly compensation. And in addition to this, Ancillary has made it all the way to 1st division football in St. Lucia yet again. And from speaking to the players, they were indeed grateful for the contributions being made by the member for Ancillary Canneries towards their team. And Mr. Speaker, I can tell you, young cricketers, young footballers, young athletes, they are happy with this government, and they signal that happiness on December 1st, 2025, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, there's not a lot left to say other than I look forward to a prosperous 2026. On Sunday, we are inviting everybody. You all know in Grosley we do it big, to our annual Christmas Wonderland at the beautiful Grosley Recreational Facility on Sunday at 2 p.m., Mr. Speaker. Simple Park is ready for the kids, and we've set up a nice little area for the adults with some good music and good cheer in the constituency of Grosley. We will continue our celebration. We'll continue to stay focused, and I look forward to enjoying my additional responsibilities and continuing to serve the people of Grosley with great dignity and loyalty. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Enjoy the rest of the proceedings.
Member for Castries Central.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it would be remiss of me if I were not to make a contribution, albeit short, to this discourse. But before doing, Mr. Speaker, I crave your indulgence to permit me to express my heartfelt gratitude to the people of Castries Central, on whose doors I've knocked 5 times during the electoral process. And on every occasion I seek to have them to open that door, they did it with minimal resistance. So I want to thank them, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank all of those who participated one way or the other. Team RF, my mayor, my PS, my line staff, CCC staff, NHC staff, everybody who in one way or the other gave me the level of encouragement that was necessary to combat that onslaught that seemingly took place on a daily basis, Mr. Speaker, on my character. But at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, they returned a verdict. And that verdict returned on December 1st, 2025, is full of records, Mr. Speaker. One which the Honorable Prime Minister has already spoken to. One ballot box with 4 votes. Another one that was a record, a political meeting with 3 people and 2 dogs. Then we had, Mr. Speaker, 81% of the votes. Then we had a victory by over 4,000 votes. Over 4,000 votes, Mr. Speaker. 81% is a member for Library. 81.2, I stand corrected. The member for Grosile, 4,000 vote margin, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, it would be remiss of me not to bring my own accomplishment into the fold. Because ever since adult suffrage that came by in 1951, no member, no politician has won Central Castries by over 1,000 votes, Mr. Speaker. And I delivered that on December 1st, 2025. They sent 1, it wasn't enough. They sent 2, Ipatease. I told them, Mr. Speaker, next election, send 3, 4, or 5. And at the end of the day, the only person to be alive is your humble servant standing right here. So I want to thank all the people of Castries Central, Mr. Speaker. Record breaking, led by a man who has stirred the ship, who has taken the economy of this country from the doldrums, the precipice of mismanagement, and now we are enjoying an economy, Mr. Speaker, that caters for all and sundry throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia. His leadership is second to none, and I do believe, as a collective, we owe him a resounding round of applause. Mr. Speaker, as it relates to the VAT-free day, I want to make something a little clearer. Participation, whilst the government has taken that step, participation in the VAT-free day is voluntary. It is not something that the government is imposing on the business community. One would understand, Mr. Speaker, with the implementation of VAT, that certain adjustments have been made to the points of sale system to allow the automatic calculation of VAT on goods purchased. Invariably, with a VAT-free day, the converse needs to be done, and the internal mechanisms have to be readjusted to ensure that VAT is not calculated on the goods that are sold VAT-free. So I urge our St. Lucians, Mr. Speaker, before walking into a supermarket or a grocery store or any of the business places, ensure that that establishment is one of those participating in the VAT-free day. Because, like I said, it's not an imposition. They have adjustments to make. And some businesses invariably will not participate. I urge St. Lucians, go out with expectations, but ensure that the business that you are patronizing is one that is involved and is participating in the VAT-free day. I just wanted to make that clear, Mr. Speaker. I think that's the extent of my contribution, apart from asking all my colleagues the new Minister of Agriculture. You know, Mr. Speaker, the member for Castries East is a mystery. And he really can't be read, Mr. Speaker. Breaking records left, right, and center. Everything he does first. And today, Mr. Speaker, we have the first female Minister of Agriculture in our history. I know she will deliver, Mr. Speaker. I know she will deliver. If I had my way, I would have probably made her the face of tourism. But I don't. But Mr. Speaker, that having been said, I want to thank all of those who assisted me in doing what had to be done. I want to thank, like I said, all of those. I've already mentioned a lot of names. I want to wish my colleagues in particular, I want to ask them to manage expectations. The sad thing is, Mr. Speaker, the trajectory on which you enter the political arena is a constant until you win. When you win, it dives downward. Why? Because persons give you a very, very short time to deliver. That is a fact. The demands will be coming left, right, and center. And some of them, if within 2 or 3 weeks you're unable to give them what they want, they will no longer have a liking for you. And they would say, so we have to manage expectations. As an old fox, Mr. Speaker, I know how to do that very well. But I'm asking the new ones to ensure that promises are not made, because the very ones who voted for you today are the ones who would hit you very, very quickly because they believe you are taking long to deliver. Manage those expectations. That having been said, Mr. Speaker, I want to wish the people of Castries Central and the length and persons throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. My colleagues, the partners, the children, grandchildren, those who have mothers, fathers, a very Merry Christmas, a prosperous New Year, and I hope we can work as a collective towards the continued upliftment of this country, that it maintains the trajectory, and economically we will be the envy of the rest of the Caribbean. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The member for Suzel Southwest.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to lend my unwavering support to this motion. But before I do so, Mr. Speaker, please permit me to thank the people of Choiseul Saltibus who placed their trust and confidence in this newcomer. After 10 years, they put their trust and confidence in me, and I'm very thankful for each and every one of them. I'm also thankful to the Prime Minister for placing the confidence in me as well, and I look forward to working with this team to make St. Lucia a better place. Back to the motion which I rose to support, Mr. Speaker, a motion that is not merely a fiscal adjustment, but a profound demonstration of empathy, economic foresight, and a government that listens to the heartbeat of its people. We are approaching the Christmas season. It's a time of joy, yes, but we must be honest. For many families, it is also a time of financial anxiety. The cost of living is a global challenge, but how a government responds to that challenge defines its character. Mr. Speaker, there is a misleading narrative being peddled by those on the other side, a tired, broken record, claiming that this administration is a party of tax and spend. I say to this honorable House, look at the evidence. The evidence proves that we are a government of relief and empowerment. This proposed VAT-free day is not an isolated event. It is a continuation of a strategic philosophy. We increased the personal income tax threshold to $25,500, removing the burden from over 14,000 workers. We removed the withholding tax on small contracts. We granted a tax amnesty to the workers, local businesses, and property owners. We removed VAT on essential building materials, plywood, lumber, steel, and cement for 2 years. When we did that, the opposition said a 12.5% reduction was insignificant. They called it crumbs. Mr. Speaker, let us do the math. Let us speak to the reality of the St. Lucian consumer. We St. Lucians, and particularly my people of Choiseul Saltibus, have traditions we refuse to let die. We love our house to house at Christmas time. We have men like Tyran, Agolo, even my Uncle Dado, and the late Charlie Pride, who ensured that the spirit of community never faded. To keep that spirit alive, we prepare. We paint our houses, we change our curtains, we buy our ham, we buy our turkey, we buy our beef the night before, we buy our drinks as well. And some of us save all year round so we can change our furniture and our appliances. So imagine a constituent in Choiseul Saltibus, a mother who wants to change our furniture and our appliances. Imagine a mother who just wants to give her home a facelift for Christmas. She needs a new stove perhaps, or a refrigerator. Let us say the item costs $3,000. On a normal day, she pays the full price plus tax. But on VAT-free day, on December 22nd, she saves $12.50 on every $100. That is a direct saving of $375 on a single item. Mr. Speaker, $375. That is the money to buy the ham. That is the money to buy the turkey. That is the money to buy the sorrel. That is not insignificant, colleagues. That is the difference between a hard Christmas and a happy one. And to help my people understand, Mr. Speaker, Sapa ti l'argent. And I hope everyone understands the Creole in here. Everyone understands the Creole, right?
You know, there you go.
Là, regardez bien, $365. Ça, c'est l'argent. Ça, c'est l'argent pour jambon. Ça, c'est l'argent pour gogla. Ça, c'est l'argent pour faire nous sentir Noël l'arrivée. Right? And Mr. Speaker, for those looking to major investments, perhaps a young couple furnishing their first home, we are talking about savings in the thousands. That is substantial capital staying right here where it belongs, in the pockets of our people. Now, Mr. Speaker, let us look at the economics behind it. Critics might call this a gimmick. You know why? Because caring for people is something they've never quite learned to mimic. We are injecting disposable income into the economy at the exact moment when the velocity of money is highest. This works in tandem with bonuses for civil servants and the $600 payout to our pensioners. It creates a multiplier effect that benefits everyone. However, Mr. Speaker, I must sound a note of caution. The success of this initiative relies on the integrity of implementation. This relief is designed for the consumer, not as a profit margin booster for unscrupulous retailers. We are employing our merchants to cooperate. Please cooperate. Do not increase pre-tax prices to absorb the savings meant for the people. The Ministry of Commerce will be vigilant. We are here to ease the burden on households, not to pad the bottom line of price gougers. Mr. Speaker, The VAT-free day is about supporting economic growth while easing the burden on households. It is about the grandmother in Saltibus who can finally afford that new appliance. It is about the family in Lafargue or Tetmon who can paint their home with pride. It is about the spirit of giving. This government does not just talk about putting people first. We draft the policy, we do the math, and we deliver the relief. I am proud to support this motion. I wish the people of St. Lucia a wise and productive VAT-free day. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. I will not say Happy Holidays because I'm guided by the father in my parish. He said, do not say Happy Holidays. Remind people it's about Christmas. Christians, it's about Christmas. So Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year to all of you. Bon Noël, Jean Choiseul, Jean Sardibis. Bon Jour de l'An, tout Jean Sardibis et puis Jean Choiseul. Et puis tout Jean Saint-Lucie and Jean Noël. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Vieux-Fort South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the resolution before us, like my colleagues before me and my colleagues, I presume, who will come after me, to support this resolution. But before I continue, I want to thank, Mr. Speaker, the people of Vieux-Fort South. The people of Vieux-Fort South that on December 1st broke every record in Vieux-Fort South and placed their trust in me and sent me to this honorable house with record-breaking numbers. I am pleased to announce La Pani Balance Vieux-Fort South encore. There are no more scales in Vieux-Fort South because we broke every scale in Vieux-Fort South, and instead of counting votes, we weighed votes in Vieux-Fort South. And they have given me the assurance that in the next election, we will not need scales, but the same trucks the honorable member from Denry North uses, that's what we will be placing our votes in the upcoming election, the next election. But to come to the resolution before us, Mr. Speaker, there is a misconception that I want to address before I take my seat. There is a growing misconception. I believe when the Honorable Prime Minister in Soufrière, which I believe was a Monday, if my memory serves me right, made the announcement of the VAT-free day, that everyone thought that it would have been every business, it would have been every item, it would have been across the country. And I want to address that misconception, especially among some of the narrators of public conversation and some of the narrators of public discourse that seem to use this to gain some cheap political points. And I want to address this before I take my seat. And in addressing this, I want to draw to our attention, Mr. Speaker, some of the examples across the region of how certain countries have implemented VAT-free days and what are the implications for St. Lucia and how we have somehow imaged and show that this is not novel, this is not new, this was not a gimmick, but we have almost, in essence, learnt from some of the countries across the region. And so I want to draw our attention, Mr. Speaker, to Jamaica. Jamaica implemented a VAT-free shopping day during the back-to-school season. In essence, VAT-free was on school items. I guess it was around July or August. The question for us is, when Jamaica implemented the VAT-free day, was it on all items? No. Was it every business? No. And so what we see in St. Lucia, it is not new, it's not novel, it's not a gimmick. It's not different from what other countries in CARICOM, what they have done. In Trinidad, for example, there was a VAT-free day to bring some measure of relief and some form of exemptions because there was this tough economic downturn. And again, it was only VAT-free on basic food items, groceries, fruits, and nuts. And so, again, when we implement a VAT-free day in St. Lucia, and it's not on every item, it's not because we want to trick the people of St. Lucia, but we're saying it is a process, it's a procedure, it's a practice that has happened across the CARICOM and across the Caribbean. And Barbados as well, when Barbados implemented a VAT-free reduction period, it was on clothing, footwear, electronics, appliances, furniture, household items, kitchenware, toys, almost like what we're doing in this present time. And so when this government, when our government says to the people of St. Lucia that we're putting you first and we're implementing a VAT-free day during the Christmas season, and we spell out that it would be a VAT-free day on clothing, on food items, household appliances, we're saying it's because we want the people of St. Lucia to get some relief during the Christmas season. And again, it is not a far removed image from what we have seen from some of the major countries across the region. So I wanted to address this misconception, and after addressing this misconception, I hope everybody in St. Lucia now, and everybody who's all over Facebook, some of those who are up to mischief, trying to cause some kind of disturbance, would get to understand that St. Lucia is not far removed from some of the practices that have taken place across the region. And so, Mr. Speaker, I truly support the resolution before us. And before I take my seat, I want to wish the people of Vieux Fort South a wonderful Christmas. We have an exciting new year before us, and I want to also wish my colleagues to have a wonderful Christmas as well, and an exciting new year. We have a Minister of Nutrition now, so I would advise you that to eat responsibly in the season. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The member for Babino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, and I want to add my support to the resolution before us. But before I add anything to the resolution, please permit me to add my profound thanks and appreciation to the people of Babino. I believe the election that we just had on December 1st, 2025, the St. Lucia Labour Party recorded the highest number of votes in Babino, 3,918. And Mr. Speaker, I want to thank our political leader, the 7-star General, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, for entrusting me to retain the seat for Babino. And that was my mission, to retain the seat. And I think we did that admirably well and in record fashion. I want to place on record my appreciation and my thanks to the people of Talvan, Foasso, Chassin, Tetchime, I think 875 votes. And we were aiming for 1,000, we're still short by 125. I guess the next election, we will get the 1,000 that we need. But added to that, I want to also add my appreciation to the Barada community that I was raised and I'm from. Gara, Bogis, Lage to some extent, Kabish, Kako. I am grateful to all the support that they would have given us in the election that just completed. I believe that they demonstrated in a very, very strong way that simplicity over smugness is what that we're going for. Humility and no to haughtiness. And when you place people at the center of development as opposed to prevarication, pie in the sky, promises and policies that the people of St. Lucia, they are smart and then they can make the right decision. I have always said that, Mr. Speaker, that our political leader, his fiscal prudence is unparalleled. And that is why he can afford to give pensioners a $600 increase that happened last month. We have $500 bonus that every civil servant is getting. And today we are passing a resolution for a VAT-free day. If our economy was not in good standing, and then he had not managed the economy of St. Lucia well, that would not have been possible. And I want to thank our political leader for the way that, not only that he has led St. Lucia, but the way that he has managed the economy of this state. All right, Mr. Speaker, I fully support the bill before us, and I want to take the opportunity to wish all my colleagues around the table all the best for the holiday season. I see, why are you laughing at Dickinson? And I want to wish all the people of Babono the very best for the new year. And I know that next year will be a fantastic year. Why? Because we have Philippe J. Pierre leading the government and the people of St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I thank you and I wish everyone a good evening.
Member for Castries Southeast.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to, I'm going to be very brief, but I rise to share my voice and support for this resolution. But permit me a few moments just to acknowledge a few very important things. And to recognize the support of the young people of Castries Southeast, particularly the youth, Mr. Speaker, because they were the campaign managers, in essence, leading the charge to ensure that Castries Southeast returned home to the St. Lucia Labour Party. I want to thank the Prime Minister, political leader, and the St. Lucia Labour Party at large for their trust and guidance. In 2019, when I initially applied to run the seat and was not successful, I stayed the course. I was appointed as an opposition senator, government senator, communications director of the party, an achievement I never even dreamt I would have gotten in my time. And then now applied and was endorsed as the candidate. I want to say a special thank you to my predecessor, former parliamentary rep, Honorable Joachim Henry, for reminding us of what putting people first looks like, and that is working together as a team. And he stayed the course, he worked with my strategy team, and provided the necessary support to ensure the seat was won. Castries Southeast made history in every single polling station. We won. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6A, Q6B, and Q67 with the greatest margin of victory for the St. Lucia Labour Party. But what was remarkable about that victory, Mr. Speaker, was the fact that no SLP candidate has ever won Q2, which is the area that I'm from, the Tiroshe Primary School. And we made history in Q2. And I want to beg leave of you to recognize two young women in the chamber, Kisera Sewak and Emma Dilligny, who led the charge in Q2 and brought Q2 home to the St. Lucia Labour Party. Very young people, Mr. Speaker. And so with the 1,112 vote margin that we achieved in this election, I know that the people of Castries Southeast are satisfied with the Prime Minister, they are satisfied with the Labour Party, and this is the parliamentary representative that they want to represent them, and I will certainly do my best. Mr. Speaker, this resolution before us for the VAT-free day, like my colleagues before, it comes at no surprise. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre has always been a Prime Minister of thought, and a very good reason. Every time he has proclaimed that he will do something, he has done it. And I believe that the people of St. Lucia have trusted him that much, knowing that he would have done it, and today he is here to deliver. So come December 22nd, I know that the people of Castries Southeast will be smiling. When I look at some families who go to the supermarkets and make their purchases around Christmas time for about $500, they can now save up to $70, Mr. Speaker. And like my colleague, the Member of Parliament for Choiseul Salterbes said, that is a ham, that is a turkey, that is a very, very Merry Christmas. While St. Lucia has the largest basket of zero VAT-rated goods in the Caribbean, I want to remind the country and the people listening today that whilst we have over 70 items or 70 categories of goods on that list, this VAT-free day is in addition to that. So I want to commend the Prime Minister for ensuring that he kept his promise to the people of St. Lucia, and Mr. Speaker, for those who are going out and spending that $70 or $80 or whatever the amount will be, I want to join my voice and ask them to spend very wisely, because whilst this government has already put measures in place to decrease the blows of inflation and other shocks, Mr. Speaker, we have a lot for us to look forward to in the new year. So I want to wish my colleagues around the table a wonderful and a Merry Christmas. To the people of Castries Southeast, thank you once again for posing your trust and confidence in me, and I look forward to serving you over this next term. Thank you.
Member for Miko North.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to lend my voice in support to the resolution before us. And Mr. Speaker, I've said on numerous occasions that I can give anybody a million reasons why I support the Honorable Prime Minister, the member for Castries East, because he is truly a man of his word and he has lived up to that. And whereas other individuals may not be, who come from on the other side, may not be in a similar position, I say today I'm extremely happy that, we're here to speak about a commitment that the Prime Minister made a few weeks ago. And I'm extremely happy that we're at that particular juncture, Mr. Speaker, and it just shows you the measure of the member for Castries East. If he says it, you know for sure that he's going to deliver it. And I know, as some members before me would have said, that there are individuals who probably would want to buy a car on that day, and we have to be, we have to be realistic and very cautious in the way that we deal with things. And as much, the member for Denry South, for Denry North, just said that there are cars at Voyager that you can buy on a VAT-free day. But, Mr. Speaker, if you would permit me just a little leave, Mr. Speaker, because I don't think that I'm standing here by any
my name was not in a raffle box, and they didn't just pull it out of a hat. So I want to say to the people of Mikunof who stood on the long lines, especially the young children who they're unable to vote, but they had a significant impact at the last general elections. I want to say thank you to them, to their parents, and I know so many parents who've been converted by virtue of their children supporting what we do as a party. So I want to say thank you to the people of Mikunof. Those who said in 2021 that I won through sympathy votes, I thank God that I'm here again, and it's not sympathy votes this time. I know there are some people who would love to have sympathy votes today. I know quite a few people, Mr. Speaker, who can do with a few sympathy votes as we speak. However, we're not here to beat our chests. I know the importance of the work that I have ahead of me in my constituency. And I said during the campaign period that there will only be one N in Mikunof at the end of the term, and only one N in the House. Unfortunately, I realized there are two N's. However, one of them got here by the people in Mikunof saying that you need to come here and represent us, and the other one probably pull out from a box and say, I give you an opportunity to come here. But, Mr. Speaker, I think I want to mention one particular individual, very quiet, or family, very quiet. But when I think of Mikunof, I have to think of them, and I refer to the Compton family, Mr. Speaker. And they may not be very loud about what they do, but I want to thank them for their way. They have a special way of providing support. I want to thank them for that support that they gave me throughout the campaign, and even throughout my tenure as parliamentary rep from 2021 to 2025. And I know today Lady Janice is smiling. I know Janine is smiling as well. And I want to thank the Prime Minister for ensuring that we delivered on a promise. And that is why I say I'm happy to be part of this team. Because when we say we are going to do something, we don't just put it on the wayside. We actually do it. And if you were to go to, and I know we have the candidate to end up in Miku South, and I know she too is extremely happy to be here because as I speak, Mr. Speaker, although it's not anything to do with the bill, all farmers who use the Maho Road are extremely excited as we've reopened the road and they can traverse Miku North and Miku South once again. And I'm also very happy that when I look on my right, Mr. Speaker, with the cadre of men and women I see sitting next to me, the only unfortunate thing is there was once upon a time when we spoke in Creole in the house, there was a particular individual you probably could have nudged and asked, Kisai Dila, and he probably would have translated. I don't know who will do the translation now, unfortunately, but I guess it's the people's mandate. So in closing, Mr. Speaker, I just want to say again that I really, I want to lend my voice in support, and I really want to thank the Prime Minister for ensuring that we continue to put the people first. And although some people may try to trivialize the importance of what it is that we are doing today, I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, only when you've lived a life or when you come from humble beginnings, you understand the importance of the $20 and the $30 that we speak about. So when some people may tell you what is $20 or $30, Mr. Speaker, I will tell you my mother used to buy flour 80 cents a pound and not buy bread for 25 cents or one to ensure that she had enough to give her children and her family. And when you come from these beginnings, you understand the importance of what it is that we are here to do today. So I want to thank the Prime Minister for this initiative, and I want to wish everybody here a Merry Christmas. And the people of Miku North, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I promise you will have a wonderful Christmas, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Soufrière Fonsejac.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of the resolution before us. But with your permission, I want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Soufrière Fonsejac for their support once again to ensure that I represent them in this August chamber. Mr. Speaker, the resolution before us is for the removal of VAT on the 22nd of December, as we call it, a VAT-free day. But I want to remind the general public through you, Mr. Speaker, that not only is this a commitment of the Honorable Prime Minister to keep his word, but it is part of a larger policy of this government. Because you may recall, Mr. Speaker, that on the 19th of August in this very chamber, 70 items were removed and were removed from VAT, standard VAT of 12.5% to zero rated. And I'll speak on this for the last time as the person with the stats, because the next time around it will be the Minister for Commerce who's going to have to bring the public up to date with the status of this. So, and he's smiling. I think there's some stats. I know very clearly we had about 13 items, Mr. Speaker, that were exempt and we moved to zero. And we had a lot of conversation with the business community to try to move some of the items to pass that savings on to the general public. It took a little while, but I want to say today that tuna fish in particular was one of those items. And it was, the price came down from $6.29 to some $5.58, Mr. Speaker. And I know I had a long conversation with, I can say his name, I think with his permission, with Martin Doville from Massey, where we were negotiating to reduce the price of chicken back in particular. I said I will not rest until we get the price of chicken back reduced, Mr. Speaker. And I want to report today that the price of chicken backs went from $12.95 to $11.51 a kilo, Mr. Speaker. It went down. In addition, the price of wings went down from $39.99 to $36.65. The other is our carrots from $17.98 to $14.98, Mr. Speaker. This information is important, Mr. Speaker, because I always like to contrast what you're doing with what happens when I watch CNN and I watch what is happening in the US, especially as it relates to the tariff. And those of us who are watching the international news, most times, now the trend that we're having, the Democrats are winning simply because of this high issue of cost of living. And here we have a government from August, July, ensuring that it took strategic decisions to relieve the pressure on our consumers. I want to take this moment to recognize the compassion of the man from the East who continue to lead this. I want our people to remember, because on the other side, Mr. Speaker, we were told that it was political gimmick. The politics has ended. The people have spoken. Yet we are here today in this House bringing in a VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker. And I want us to recognize that. I want the people to recognize that. I want to take this moment to thank the staff of the Ministry of Commerce for the significant work, and as well the staff of the Ministry of Finance, the Research Department, the committee that is responsible for working with us in terms of the tariff, the work that we are doing continually to ensure that we have policy positions where we pass savings to our people. I want to thank as well the business community for their cooperation. And I want us to put it on record, Mr. Speaker, because we have wrestled a bit with them, but they have passed on that VAT savings to the consumers. And I really want to say that I am very pleased about this, and I'm hoping that they continue to work with this government to pass on these savings to our consumers. So, Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to say that we have a government that continues to put the people first. I want to take this moment to wish members in the chamber, you, Mr. Speaker, my constituent of Soufrière Fauchejak, and all of St. Lucia a peaceful and joyous Christmas and a productive and peaceful 2026. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Ancillary Canaries.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I'm told I should not say PSTY, Mr. Speaker. I was told, Mr. Speaker, that I should not say PSTY. Mr. Speaker, before I start, I would like to thank the people of Ancillary Canaries, Mr. Speaker. For a very long time, Mr. Speaker, we were defined by a particular narrative that never really suited us. In 2021, Mr. Speaker, they found a reason for hope. In 2025, Mr. Speaker, they found a reason for hope. And it's for that reason, Mr. Speaker, I'm very grateful to be returned to the House of Parliament as a representative for the people of Ancillary Canaries, Mr. Speaker. I've always believed, Mr. Speaker, that we are far more than our misfortunes. And every single constituency in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, has its own unique challenges. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, I will continue to speak for a reclassification of how we judge and measure constituencies. I think we should move to a constituency development index where, Mr. Speaker, we are measured on what is lacking as opposed to what people believe we need, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today, Mr. Speaker, humbled by the responsibility entrusted to me, Mr. Speaker, as the Minister for Economic Development and the Youth Economy, and firmly, Mr. Speaker, committed to advancing policies that place people at the center of our economic strategy. Before this House, Mr. Speaker, today is a modest amendment to the VAT Act, but one with significant economic, social, and psychological impact. The provision for a VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker, on select items during the Christmas season. This amendment, Mr. Speaker, deserves our full and united support. Too often, our citizens hear about economic policy only in abstract terms, percentages, projections, and long-term forecasts. This amendment, Mr. Speaker, changes that. A VAT-free day delivers instant relief at the cash register. It means parents stretching a salary a little further. It means grandparents purchasing gifts without sacrificing any necessities. It means working families feeling that this government understands the real pressures that they face. This House, Mr. Speaker, must never underestimate the power of practical relief, especially during a season when expenses are highest and expectations are great. This amendment is not a giveaway, it's a stimulus. By temporarily removing VAT on selected items, we are encouraging spending that might otherwise be delayed or suppressed. Retailers will experience increased foot traffic. Wholesalers, Mr. Speaker, will be able to move their inventory. But, Mr. Speaker, an economy grows not only through long-term infrastructure, but through confidence and consumption. And this measure, Mr. Speaker, injects both at precisely the right time. Christmas, Mr. Speaker, is a make-or-break season for many businesses. A VAT-free day increases volume, improves cash flow, and strengthens the viability of enterprises that employ our people and anchor our communities. Supporting this amendment, Mr. Speaker, is therefore a vote for local enterprise, local jobs, and local resilience. And as Minister responsible for the youth economy, Mr. Speaker, I cannot overestimate the relevance this measure has to young entrepreneurs. Many youth-led businesses, Mr. Speaker, will be operating in this season. A VAT-free day, in essence, Mr. Speaker, begins to level the playing field, increases their demand, and gives young business owners the opportunity to build customers, visibility, and confidence. If we are serious, Mr. Speaker, about empowering our youth, not just in speeches, but in policy, then this amendment is a step in the right direction. And some, Mr. Speaker, we are hearing may have some concerns about the revenue. But let me assure this House, Mr. Speaker, this measure is carefully targeted, limited in duration, and focused on select items. It does not, Mr. Speaker, undermine the fiscal discipline that the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance have worked for throughout those years. On the contrary, Mr. Speaker, it will increase sales volumes, which often sometimes offset the VAT reductions from a broader economic activity. This is smart, balanced policy, compassionate without being careless, and supportive, Mr. Speaker, without being reckless. Christmas is a season of generosity, family, and shared joy. Government policy should not be divorced from the lived realities of our citizens. By supporting this amendment, we send a very powerful signal, Mr. Speaker, that this Parliament, this government, understands the people of St. Lucia. That economic policy, Mr. Speaker, can be humane, that growth and compassion are not mutually exclusive. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, this amendment is not about politics. It is not about ideology. It is about people. It is about giving families breathing room, businesses momentum, and the youth an opportunity at a time when it matters most. I therefore call on all members, Mr. Speaker, including the limited that are on the other side, to support this amendment, whether in Parliament or in public, in the spirit of unity, economic sense, and national goodwill. Let us pass this amendment, Mr. Speaker, and allow our people to experience in a very real way that the Parliament works for them. I commend, Mr. Speaker, this amendment to the House. But before I take my seat, Mr. Speaker, I want to extend my congratulations to the Prime Minister. And many people have said many things about the Prime Minister, and whenever he refers to me in his public statements, I want to assure the public and the people of St. Lucia that any correction that is provided to me by the member of Castries and the Prime Minister will forever be accepted and will never see as anything other than support for a successful stewardship of the constituency of Ansari Candries. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Dennery South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I stand in support of the value-added tax amendment. But before I continue, Mr. Speaker, I would like you to permit me the opportunity to thank the people of Dennery South, and that includes Dennery Village, Lakai, Lime, Delaide. And I want to tell them that I'm very thankful for them placing the trust and confidence in me, and for me to continue to serve them in the Parliament of St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, I know there was quite a lot happening in this constituency a few days before the 1st of December, but I had the confidence that the people of Dennery South would select me to continue to serve them because of the confidence in the St. Lucia Labour Party and the fact that they know or knew very well that the Honorable Philip J. Pierre was the right person to lead St. Lucia in this new election or term. Mr. Speaker, I stand again to support, to say a big thank you to my team. We worked very hard, but at the end of the day, we prevail, and Dennery South is one of the constituencies that is in Parliament at this time. Je voulais dire toute jeune manière moi apprécier yo, moi ka remercier yo toutes pour confiance là yo dernier dans moi pour continuer faire moi représenter yo en Parlement gouvernement. Ek mo kwe, c'est because you savent that moi ni yo ek moi ga fait tout ça mo fait pour faire la vie au plus meilleur. Et puis moi c'est part of un gouvernement, un team qui a délivré by pays et a délivré un chai by the South. Aujourd'hui nous là pour délivrer un promet qui était fait par premier ministre là. Côté il dit il a été soufflé à la meeting that nous gagner une journée côté moun pas gagner pour payer VAT pour santé commodité et pour dire pour mettre là il faire nous là qu'a délivrer pour mettre ça là et moi demander tout monde dans le South cheveti là on à ce côté pas servi tout et espérer lundi qu'a venir pour point l'avantage là qui a for $, ou ka joindre pour acheter des bonbons, pour acheter viande, pour acheter manger, pour acheter ça ou ka besoin pour ni un bon Noël et un bon jour blanc. Mr. Speaker, I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity and I look forward to continue making representation to the people of Dennery South, mainly to improve their quality of life. And I look forward to working with the cabinet, my cabinet colleagues, and I know the Prime Minister will continue to provide the much needed resources to the people of Dennery South to make Dennery South a better constituency. Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much.
Member for Dennery North.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The last time I spoke at a public forum where I was flanked by the individuals in this house, my remarks were preceded by a very popular song. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we are in Parliament and there is no place for that. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of the proposed amendment to the VAT legislation to allow for a VAT-free day. And like my colleagues before me, Mr. Speaker, I want to crave your indulgence to do a few things. Firstly, I want to congratulate you for having been elected to the speakership yet again. Mr. Speaker, I've been in this Parliament for more than a decade, and unopposed, I've been reminded by the Prime Minister. I've been in this Parliament for more than a decade, and I've had to work with several presiding officers. And Mr. Speaker, it is not born out of convenience when I say that you are arguably the best that I've worked with. And that having interfaced and interacted with parliamentarians from other jurisdictions in the Caribbean, and you listen to them as they give details of the things that happen in their own jurisdictions, Mr. Speaker, I am prepared to go further and say that you are one of the best in the region. Mr. Speaker, I also want to congratulate my colleagues for having contested the general elections very successfully and having won their seats to take their rightful places in this chamber. And Mr. Speaker, perhaps the most important thing for me today is to express my gratitude to the people of Dennery North who have, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times in a row, Mr. Speaker, they've lined up outside the various polling stations in the polling divisions to elect me as their parliamentary representative to be their voice in this Parliament and in the broader scheme of governance. Mr. Speaker, a VAT-free day for me is more than just an opportunity for consumers to enjoy a discount. But for me, this initiative speaks to the philosophy of a government that continues to put people first. I'm not even concerned, Mr. Speaker, about the reduction in prices, but the gesture itself. This is a Prime Minister who from day one, Mr. Speaker, has said to the people of St. Lucia that at every opportunity, they must be at the forefront of whichever development agenda we decide to pursue. So when on the VAT-free day, the average customer receives or enjoys a discount of 12.5%, Mr. Speaker, for me, it is more about the government reaching out to people irrespective of your station in life. And one of the things I am most humbled by, Mr. Speaker, I like about our government is the balance we've been able to strike as an administration. And I've said this time and again, this is the same government that can position itself, that can govern, that can lead in such a way that billionaire investors are comfortable coming to this jurisdiction and make their money work for them. And this is the same government, Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the investor confidence of which I speak. This is the same government that will, without delay, reinstate the distress fund when our people need it, particularly those most vulnerable in our society. So, Mr. Speaker, this gesture, it speaks to a compassionate government, it speaks to a government that puts people first, and it speaks to a Prime Minister who understands the people of St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, je voulais l'occasion pour dire aujourd'hui that moi supporter démarche gouvernement qu'a point qu'on la kani yon jour en mois de décembre qu'on ou pas kay payer VAT en les adanse bay là ou kay acheter et que ces marchandises ça là en ces magasins ou kay joindre ça plus bon marché et que ça qu'a fait puis gouvernement nous c'est yon qui comprend situation moun en pays cette ici. So that on les jour ça là aller dans magasin Mr. Speaker et qu'on va joindre en situation qu'on va payer moins l'argent pour bailler ou qu'on va payer plus l'argent pour ça c'est un gouvernement qui comprend souffrance moun, ça c'est un gouvernement qui veut bailler moun en soulagement et qu'on pas mêler qui qualité moun ou yé ou qui ça ou ka quoi from a religious standpoint, but everybody will admit and agree that during the Yuletide season, the holiday season as we call it, Mr. Speaker, people are looking forward to discounts. People are looking forward to spending. People are looking forward to the good cheer that we speak about at every opportunity. And this particular initiative, Mr. Speaker, will contribute immensely to creating that Christmas spirit, creating that feeling of good cheer where people can enjoy themselves with their families, their friends and communities, thereby making our country a much more prosperous place to live and to exist. Mr. Speaker, I'm extremely optimistic about the prospects for the year 2026. I want to thank the Prime Minister for having entrusted me with the responsibilities that go with the Ministry of Infrastructure, Port Services and Energy. I must tell you, Mr. Speaker, this is a challenge that I look forward to, and some of my colleagues in here have made it even more exciting, given that I have not even seen the coat of paint in my office, but the demands have been coming for road infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, I welcome that. I don't see it as a burden, but I see it as an expression of confidence in my ability to continue the good work that was started by the senior minister and the former Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the member for Castries North. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this amendment, and I think the benefits will be down to the average person in St. Lucia. And just before I take my seat, I want to once again place my gratitude on the record to the people of Denver North, Mr. Speaker, who have, after 4 general elections, elected me to be their parliamentary representative. I thank you.
Member for Castries North.
Mr. Speaker, I'm obliged this afternoon to stand here in this House of Assembly to participate, to contribute towards this debate, which for me is though small but meaningful to the people of this country. I must admit that it is an opportunity not only to endorse the amendment being made here this afternoon to facilitate a VAT-free day, but an opportunity to at least show appreciation for what has transpired in this country over the last 2 weeks. And that is a resounding victory by a people who were determined and who understood what good governance is, what good government is, and what a government who cares about people means to them by returning this government back into office. I want to thank the Prime Minister for the opportunity which is given me over the last 4 years to serve this country as minister responsible for infrastructure, and now to give me yet another opportunity, though as an independent member, to give me yet another opportunity to serve the people of St. Lucia, and particularly on this occasion, to serve the public officers who work so hard to produce and to serve the people of our country. Mr. Speaker, but I wouldn't have been here had it not been for the people of Castries North, the land of the patriots, the land of the Blue Wave, who have, for 8 consecutive occasions, elected me as parliamentary representative for Castries North. They have demonstrated in me, they have demonstrated their confidence, their trust, and their admiration in serving them in this parliament. And when I look back, Mr. Speaker, from whence we came and what is presented now to the general public, I see young individuals who are coming forward, young men who seem to be all excited because they have seen a rosy fruit in the tree. And even before touching it, they have messed up their garments without arriving at home. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this is not just a show. This is about dedication, it's about sacrifice, it's about commitment, and it is about a cause that needs assistance in this country. And so, Mr. Speaker, the matter which is before us, that of the amendment to the value-added tax, is one I believe is well appreciated by the people of this country. It shows compassion, it shows love, it shows appreciation, it demonstrates commitment to a cause, to that cause for the people who at all times are asking for representation that cares, representation that is meaningful. That is what this government has demonstrated. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to be part of this government. A government of compassion, a government of love, a government which cares, a government who reaches out and puts people first. I believe on my side that it is about people and country. And that is what this government pays attention to. Serving the people, empowering the people, and doing such things as what we are doing here today. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, as we give in this season of giving, a season of goodwill, a season of love, a season, Christmas, I believe it is most appropriate for us to seal this by continuing or engaging in this particular exercise of an amendment to the value-added tax on a number of goods. When you read the list, Mr. Speaker, of the items which are being incorporated or which are being considered, it shows that the government cares. It's foodstuffs, it's items that are needed, items on a daily basis that people need, particularly in the season of goodwill. And I think also, Mr. Speaker, that while we remove 12.5%, remove the VAT, sometimes there's a need for us to be able to highlight what that means, what's the value, the actual value, so that even in with those businesses who are involved, who are participating in this exercise, it would be really good, Mr. Speaker, if they can be encouraged, and I hope in future the Minister for Commerce can encourage them to put value to what persons will be saving. So if it's chicken backs, what is the value of what you're saving? Because sometimes, though our people appreciate what is being done for them, sometimes they need to feel it, they need to touch it, they need to know exactly what it is. Put value to it when they get to that cash register to say, you have saved 60 cents, you have saved 80 cents, you have saved $2 or $10. So they can really now talk about what they saved as a consequence of a VAT-free day. A VAT-free day is to say to people, listen, we care about you. Today we are giving you 1 day, a free pass, 1 day to at least experience what it is and to show them that appreciation. And so, Mr. Speaker, as I didn't have the intention of speaking at all, I think it's an appropriate moment for me to extend to my constituents, my family first and foremost, my key supporters, the patriots who have rallied with me and who have come home with a resounding victory. To all of the supporters in the constituency, both in red and in blue, I want to say a big thank you to them at this last election. They made it happen, they worked hard, and they demonstrated their full commitment and support for me. I want to wish them a Merry Christmas and of course a Happy New Year. I look forward for the next 5 years to continue to serve the people of Castries North in the manner that I've done it before and even better. I am hoping, Mr. Speaker, that as I proceed in serving them, that I will appeal to the Minister for Infrastructure to inform him that there are roads in Castries North that require attention, and that I'm hoping that the Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, will give him the necessary resources and support to fix some of the roads in Castries North which are still in need of repairs. So, Mr. Speaker, I must thank my supporters, I must thank my people for the years of support and the support which was given to me. I want to thank my colleagues who have worked with me and who have given me the encouragement, who have supported me. I want to say a special welcome to the new individuals, the new parliamentarians, Mr. Speaker, who have spoken boldly today in giving support to this piece of legislation, which demonstrates the quality of men and women we attract here, Mr. Speaker. Men and women who are prepared to step up, step out and step up and give support to the necessary legislation that will help improve the quality of life and the standard of living of our people. And to all of you, I wish you a very Merry Christmas. I look forward to 2026 working with you and of course hoping that it will be a productive and enjoyable New Year. Thank you. May God bless all of you.
Leader of Government Business, member for Castries South.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to join my colleagues in supporting the amendment to the VAT Act, the motion which is before this Honorable House. And like my colleagues, I want to take the opportunity to express my gratitude to the constituents of Castries South for returning me to this honorable chamber for a third time. Mr. Speaker, the last 4.5 years were quite intense. A lot had been said, a lot of accusations, a lot of statements. Social media was never quiet, Mr. Speaker, and I certainly not in the mood to repeat and to recount all the things that had been said. My mood is totally different, Mr. Speaker. But on December 1st, the faithful constituents of Castries South made known their decision, Mr. Speaker, and that secret weapon that was brought in, Mr. Speaker, to destroy the member from Castries East and his economic policies, and of course, my good self, Mr. Speaker, failed miserably, Mr. Speaker, and the rest is history. Of course, Mr. Speaker, it was quite a mandate given to us by the people of St. Lucia and the constituents of Castries South. And once again, we pledge to continue to put people first, Mr. Speaker. But for us, more important this time, Mr. Speaker, is not just about putting people first, but to make a clarion call to all St. Lucians. Let us move forward together. Let us do it together. I think we all witness the consequences of the political division, Mr. Speaker, the consequences of the bitterness and the hatred that such division can generate in our country. And we all around this honorable table, Mr. Speaker, sincerely believe that our country can be so much of a better place if we move forward together, if we work together, Mr. Speaker. And on this occasion, we are calling on all St. Lucians, let us work together. Let's put aside those differences that we have, and let us purposefully work together, Mr. Speaker, to raise our country. And like the Prime Minister keeps saying, let us make St. Lucia the best place to work and live in the region, Mr. Speaker. I want to say to my constituents that I will continue the work that has started in Castries South. Mr. Speaker, I am reminded often of the Cuba Railroad, Mr. Speaker. I know the member for Castries North, Mr. Speaker, had pledged that the Ministry of Infrastructure would have repaired this road, Mr. Speaker, and I will continue to lobby for the people of Cuba Rail, Mr. Speaker, and other areas where we started work, and we will continue to do so. So, to all the constituents of Castries South, a very special thank you for the support that you gave. There were many comrades who did not make it, with us on December the 1st, and this victory was really dedicated to them. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to also thank the Prime Minister, the member for Castries East, for, not making life any easier for me, Mr. Speaker. That, whereas we've done a lot in tourism and investment, creative industries, Mr. Speaker, we're now given an expanded responsibility, and I'm really pleased to have with me Honorable Estefan to join me as we continue, Mr. Speaker, to do the good work that we've started previously, but now having, an expanded portfolio. Of course, I'm really grateful to the minister who was before me, the member, for Soufrière, for Jacques. She's done a tremendous job, and I sat last night at the Business Awards and listened to her in a presentation, and really felt proud to be of a government that had already done so much, in the commerce, in the Ministry of Commerce, Mr. Speaker. And I know, and I want to assure her that we will continue the good work that she started, and some of the plans she had in place, we will see it through. And of course, we're going to, expand it even further to achieve some of the pledges, or all of the pledges that we have in our manifesto. So the honourable member can rest assured that the legacy will be safeguarded, and the good work that she has started will continue, Mr. Speaker. And of course, I'm not sure if to thank the Prime Minister or, to be, I don't know what to say to him, but he's really given us a new platform for us to do so much more, Mr. Speaker. And I hope, of course, as usual, his guidance and his leadership and his own thoughts as to how we should navigate this new space will be forthcoming. And I hope that he will not be any less available than he has been in the past, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think as the Minister for Commerce, I probably will say a little more on the motion that has been said by other members before me. And I'll try to add to what the member from Castries East would have said on the motion. And I'll try to present it in a very simplistic way for St. Lucians and for members of this House to understand the mechanics of what is before us. And I think, Mr. Speaker, I want to start off by pointing out some of the defining characteristics of what we are doing, Mr. Speaker, so people can understand what is being put before them. The first thing we should note, Mr. Speaker, is that this amendment does not apply to any services. It is only on goods. So anybody who believes that the VAT-free day extends to services, it does not. Only on goods. And that is very clearly stated. And therefore, persons who are accustomed of paying legal fees should not go into a lawyer's office on Monday and believe that they would not have to pay VAT on those legal fees. You would still have to pay, fees on services. This relates to goods, the sale of goods. The VAT-free day is on the sale of goods. The second defining characteristic, Mr. Speaker, is that it has to be on goods that are available for what is described as the immediate issuance or delivery on the day of purchase. So you will notice there are certain exemptions. It cannot be on goods that are imported and will be coming to the country. So you cannot buy and pay for goods on that day for goods that are already not in stock or goods that will be imported and claim that you want it to qualify for a VAT-free designation. It will not apply. And that's really important. I think the member from Castries East pointed out, in the case of hire purchase, you have to complete the purchase on the day. So you cannot go to courts and make a deposit and claim that you want it VAT-free. You would have had to pay off the full amount on the day. And that's really important. I don't think you can go to Shopbox and say you had imported goods and it's now there and you're clearing it on that day and therefore you should get VAT free. No, it has to be purchased on the day, and it has to be in stock, and it has to be goods that can be almost immediately delivered or issued to you, the purchaser. And I think that's also quite important to note, Mr. Speaker. And questions have been asked as to why should business persons or business places register to be part of it. I think that the law is very clear in terms of the application of VAT, and therefore everyone is required to apply the VAT. And if you are going to be offering VAT-free and be part of the offering, the motion says it is persons that are approved by the controller of customs. In other words, you are required to apply it unless the controller designates you as not required to apply it on that day. And therefore, you would have to indicate whether you are participating on the day for you to be legally allowed not to charge VAT. So the Inland Revenue Department and the respective agencies will be making all the announcements, all the public service announcements, will be publicizing and explaining to business places. And I want to encourage all business places to register to be part of it and to be exempted to allow them to participate. Of course, there are some businesses that will say because of their operations, they may not be able to adjust their systems to allow for the tabulations and the processing, so therefore they may not be able to participate. But we want to encourage all business places to be part of the VAT-free day and to be able to offer to customers VAT-free offerings, Mr. Speaker. It is an opportunity for St. Lucians, and it has been said by colleagues before me, an opportunity for them to be able to get goods on discounted prices. It is a government that cares about the people. It's a government that always seeks to find relief for the people of St. Lucia. And other countries have done it before. It's the first time we're doing it in St. Lucia. And of course, we need to work out the mechanics. But the intent is to bring relief as much as possible to the people of St. Lucia. I know there are a lot of friends of mine who want to buy Christmas gifts, and even colleagues in this honorable house that has to buy a lot of Christmas gifts, you know, and Mr. Speaker, it's an opportunity for them, Mr. Speaker. I see the member from Miko North is smiling, Mr. Speaker, and he's probably, you know, Mr. Speaker, has his long Christmas gift list, Mr. Speaker. The member from Grozile, I know, Mr. Speaker, he has his Christmas party coming up when? Oh, Sunday, that's before the VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker. So it's an opportunity to buy all the perfumes and pieces of jewelry that some of you have to buy for the wives, Mr. Speaker, and husbands, Mr. Speaker. So take the opportunity to do so, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know, in conclusion, I want to, you know, wish all my colleagues in here very best wishes for the season and compliments, Mr. Speaker. And for us to look forward to the new year, Mr. Speaker, we have a very intense agenda ahead of us, and we're certainly going to be challenged for us to deliver on all the pledges and commitments that we made to the people of St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. As always, I'm sure this honorable house will be very lively and alive, Mr. Speaker, in the new year, Mr. Speaker. And I'm sure both the upper house and the lower house will be a place where many St. Lucians will be glued to their televisions and other, you know, platforms to see what's going on, Mr. Speaker. We certainly look forward as members of, you know, of the government side to implement and to deliver to the people. And again, once again, to the people of Kaswi South, I want to thank you so very much, Mr. Speaker, for all the support that I was given and returning me to this august chamber. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Minister for Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank members for supporting this motion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I'm running up, I just want to make it a point, Mr. Speaker, that there seem to be a set of people, anything that will benefit the people of St. Lucia, it's opposed. It really fascinates me, Mr. Speaker. We decided that we would have tried to reduce period poverty. It was opposed. we decided anything we decided to do, Mr. Speaker, to assist people, it's supposed, Mr. Speaker. So the rumor mongering is now on about the VAT-free day. The rumor mongering is now on about the VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker. And somebody, and Mr. Speaker, when you speak about propaganda, when people spread propaganda, I've always said that they must fact check, Mr. Speaker. So on social media, somebody highlighted to me that a propagandist was saying, why don't we do the same VAT as another country? As if the other country's own was better than ours. The VAT-free day was better than ours. So that was a big story, that the Minister of Finance was bluffing, and he's got problems with the VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker. But I don't like to, I'm not going to mention the country's name, Mr. Speaker, because as the Minister says, the VAT-free days are not new to St. Lucia. It was because there was not enough foresight. There was not enough thought, Mr. Speaker, that a VAT-free day was not introduced to St. Lucia before. And having a discussion with somebody from the Chamber of Commerce, they said to me that they had recommended a long time ago that we have a VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker. So it is not something new. It's something new to St. Lucia because the government has the foresight and the understanding and the need to improve people's lives. That is why we had a VAT-free day, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, in another country that's having a VAT-free day, I want to just read out to you what goods are included, Mr. Speaker, eligible goods. And to see the public of St. Lucia, all these goods are eligible here also. Consumer electronics, televisions, computers, smartphones, audio equipment. Household appliances, all these goods VAT-free. Household appliances, refrigerators, stoves, washing machines, microwaves. Food and beverages, inclusive of non-alcoholic drinks. But in St. Lucia, alcoholic drinks are not legible. Furniture, beds, sofas, dining sets, office furniture, building materials, Mr. Speaker. In St. Lucia already, there are a number of building materials that are VAT zero-rated items. But tiles and plumbing fixtures and these kind of things you need for your home, Mr. Speaker, they are eligible on the VAT-free day. Cosmetics and toiletries, perfumes, skin care, non-prescription personal care items, no VAT, Mr. Speaker. General merchandise, toys, books, decor, kitchenware, no VAT, Mr. Speaker. That's in another country, just like St. Lucia, similar to St. Lucia. But St. Lucia is better because some of our building materials are already VAT-free. Going further, Mr. Speaker, exclusions, same as St. Lucia. Tobacco products, firearms and ammunition, and motor vehicles, same as St. Lucia. But but the propaganda goes that other places is better, other places is better than other places. The member from Beaufort South spoke of what's happening in another country, Mr. Speaker. But there's a persistence in this country to spread bad news. There's a persistence to push bad news, Mr. Speaker. That it seems to be something that's a pandemic in this country. So, bad news. Slant things in a direction that you should slant it. So I want to tell the public that St. Lucia's VAT-free day is the same as other countries, and in some cases even better, because St. Lucia has the largest list of zero-rated items in the region. In the region, Mr. Speaker. So I want to say another reason why it's voluntary, because we do not want to push it on the throats of anybody, because businesses will have to change their computer systems to change their computer systems so that it can be ready for that day. And many businesses may not be able to. So this is why it's voluntary. It's not voluntary because they don't want it or because they are supporting the government. It's not that, Mr. Speaker. It's voluntary because we say to the business, if you don't have the time or the expertise to change your system around, that is okay, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to make these points, Mr. Speaker, because we seem to be always trying to push the glass half empty instead of half full, Mr. Speaker. And I can assure you, on the 22nd of December, hundreds, if not thousands of people will benefit from the VAT-free day that this government has given, in spite of the propaganda and the rumor mongering that comes around, Mr. Speaker. We were told that we could not do it, we could not implement it because we had to amend budget we had to amend the budget to give a VAT-free day. You know the reason why we could do it, Mr. Speaker? Because our revenue has performed satisfactory and it can give back to the public 1 day of VAT. That's the simple reason why we have done it. If our revenue had not performed, we would not have been able to do it. But our projections say that we can do it, Mr. Speaker, and the officials of the Ministry of Finance have agreed that we can do it, Mr. Speaker. Because as I have proclaimed here several times before, I'm not any economist. I am not proclaiming to be any economist. No. So when I need that kind of information, that kind of advice, I go to the economists, to the fellows who have proven that they can guide an economy and they have not put a country in any state of disrepute. These are the people I go to, Mr. Speaker. So they have told me that we can afford it. The same way they have told me we can afford our bonus, they've told me we can afford it, Mr. Speaker, and that is why we are doing it on the 22nd of December. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, the question is that Parliament, by affirmative resolution, approves the draft value-added tax amendment of Schedule 1, Number 3 order, which amends Schedule 1 of the Act in Item 2.1 to include as zero-rated goods on the 22nd day of December 2025 a supply of goods for which transactions are completed on that date by a taxable person specified by the controller, except the following: A, orders for goods not in stock; B, the supply of motor vehicles; C, the supply of guns and ammunition; D, the supply of tobacco products; E, the supply of alcoholic beverages; and F, the import of goods. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion standing in my name. Be it resolved that Parliament, by affirmative resolution, approves the draft value-added tax amendment of Schedule 2 order, which amends Schedule 2 of the Act in Item 2CC to delete as exempt supplies the goods under the following customs tariff headings: backs and necks of the fowls of the species. Chicken back of the fowls of the species Gallus domesticus frozen. All I have to say to Mr. Speaker is chicken back. Necks and backs. Wings of fowls of the species Gallus domesticus frozen. Chicken wings. Other cuts of the meat of the species Gallus domesticus frozen. Potatoes other than seed potatoes, fresh or chilled. Tomatoes, fresh or chilled. Onions, fresh or chilled. Garlic, fresh or chilled. Cabbages, fresh or chilled. Carrots, fresh or chilled. Other edible roots, fresh or chilled. Cucumber, fresh or chilled. Celery other than celeriac, fresh or chilled. Pumpkins, fresh or chilled. okras, fresh or chilled, lentils, dried, shelled, whether not skinned or split, pigeon peas, dried, shelled, whether not skinned or split, avocados, fresh or dried, mangoes, fresh or dried, oranges, fresh or dried, lemons, fresh or dried, limes, fresh or dried, watermelons, fresh or dried, pawpaws, fresh, canned tuna in containers, more than 6 ounces, canned tuna in containers, 6 ounces or less, canned mackerel in containers, 200 grams or less. Mr. Speaker, last year, we understood the issues as it relates to the cost of living. And we agreed that certain sectors or certain income groups were feeling the pinch more than others as it relates to the cost of living. So we made certain adjustments. We removed service charge on the basket of goods. We removed duties on goods we could, taking into consideration what we had to do as far as our common external tariff obligations are concerned. We also subsidized directly the Minister of Commerce, flour, etc., Mr. Speaker, just to reduce the impact of the cost of living on certain goods, Mr. Speaker. But after analysis, and I must commend the Chamber of Commerce for helping us in this regard, we decided that the economy was strong enough to absorb the loss of revenue that would accrue when we had removed VAT on certain items. So we listed 70 items, Mr. Speaker. The 70 items, we removed the VAT of 12.5% on these 70 items. And that had an immediate impact on the cost of living. And I made it clear, and members always made it clear, that we are price takers. We are price takers. We do not control the price outside. We do not control the cost of goods outside. Nobody here, nobody in this room, Mr. Speaker, has any control of the price of goods outside of this country. When goods come here, the cost comprises of several things. The cost of the price, the cost of the purchase, the shipping cost, the insurance cost, all these things come here, and when they come here, it's called free on board, FOB cost. And then you apply the import duties and the VAT, etc., to cause it to get to a price for the consumer, and then the merchant puts his markup. So there are several things we could not control, Mr. Speaker. So what we did is we looked at these 70 items and we removed the VAT. And we made it clear that the cost of these goods would decrease once the price, it did not increase from abroad. And true to form, Mr. Speaker, many goods, the price to the consumer was reduced, Mr. Speaker, because of the government's direct intervention. The cost of these goods went down, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, in the VAT business, there is something called zero-rated goods and exempt goods. And as usual, they try to deliberately confuse the public on the difference between zero-rated and exempt. A deliberate attempt to confuse the public for political gain. Praise God, the public is smarter. A deliberate attempt. So they confuse and they mix exempt and zero. Mix it together, to come out with something to blame the government. The member for Soufre, the Minister of Commerce at the time, she made it clear that there's a difference between exempt items and zero-rated items. And let me say it again, Mr. Speaker. Exempt items the merchant pays the VAT, but the customer does not. So it cannot be charged again. What that means is that in the VAT returns, they cannot claim for the VAT on exempt items. Right, Minister of Commerce? That basically what it is. That's what it is. But again, they try to confuse the public. What that means is when the merchant is costing his goods, he spreads the cost over all the items, including those that are exempt. So what the merchant told us is if they have to spread the cost over all the items in Sika. And that means that even though the consumer does not pay VAT directly in the costing, the merchant has to include the exempt VAT on all the goods in the store. So that caused the price to increase, Mr. Speaker. So after discussions, we said that we are going to look at the list of goods that are exempt but not zero rated. And that means we would have converted these exempt goods into zero rated items so they will pay no VAT. Period. No VAT. So that means neither the consumer nor the merchant would have paid VAT, Mr. Speaker. And all things being because the cost of these goods are supposed to go down also. The minister was at pains to discuss that. But there was an anomaly because mangoes and carrot and cucumber and things sold by local farmers also became VAT exempt. They were VAT exempt also. So you paid no VAT on them, but they had to pay. They were no VAT, but they were exempt. So that means the same thing related to them. So right now, all these goods, local produce goods, they are VAT free and they're not exempt goods any longer. So the price of these things also supposed to go down, as the minister said a while ago, Mr. Speaker. So that is what this resolution is doing. It is amending the schedule, Mr. Speaker, to cause all these goods that were previously exempt goods to now become zero-rated goods. And that is why you have all these fruits and vegetables there, Mr. Speaker, because before they were exempt, but they were not zero-rated. And that is the reasoning behind that resolution. And hopefully, Mr. Speaker, again, once the prices do not go up from abroad, once the prices are not increased abroad, Mr. Speaker, the cost of these goods to the consumer should come down, Mr. Speaker. And that is what this is all about, Mr. Speaker. Again, the government's promise, using the tools it has at its disposal to reduce the cost of living for the people of St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, and that is done for everybody. Because when people oppose these things, Mr. Speaker, everybody benefits. Because when you go to the supermarket, no matter who you are, no matter if you have a red tie or blue tie, Mr. Speaker, the cost of no tie at all, the cost of goods will go down for you. So there's these things, there's no reason why we have to take these initiatives and try to distort them, Mr. Speaker, because everybody will benefit. So with that amendment, Mr. Speaker, we hope that the cost of these goods will also be decreased. And there are some very interesting things that Mr. Speaker, canned tuna, lentils. People always spoke about these items, and then they said to us, but there's no VAT. And why hasn't the price gone down? Because, Mr. Speaker, they were zero rated, but they were exempt supplies, so the consumer did not pay the VAT, but the merchants still paid the VAT, Mr. Speaker. So I want to again commend the Minister of Commerce, Mr. Speaker, and the Ministry of Commerce for working very hard on these items, Mr. Speaker. And we did get cooperation from the Chamber of Commerce. We didn't get cooperation from them. Sometimes the negotiations were tough because these guys they're there to make money. So, but the negotiations were tough, Mr. Speaker. But in the final analysis, good sense prevailed, and the patience and the commitment of the Minister for Commerce and the staff of the Ministry of Commerce and with the endorsement and the single purpose of the cabinet to ensure that the people of this country, that they could enjoy a higher quality of life and don't get the blows that inflation all over the world, Mr. Speaker. Then you have to have the issue of tariffs, which the new Minister of Commerce will have to deal with. The issue of tariffs. Today, the Foreign Minister from the Bahamas is telling me that there are tariffs on lobsters, and that affects the exports of lobsters from the Bahamas because there are tariffs on lobsters. I guess one day, if tariffs are imposed, they'll blame Pierre. Mr. Speaker, that may happen, Mr. Speaker. So it's a very dynamic situation, and then the Minister of Commerce has his work cut out for him because he has to be continuously monitoring these things and looking at what's happening, because anything happens abroad. The price of oil, the price of gas is a big story about the price. I think we control the price of gas there, Mr. Speaker. There was an incident last week in the region. Automatically, there was a slight spike in the cost of oil. There was a spike because of that action. Nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us, but we suffer from it. So when people make these statements as if governments have direct control over the cost of living, and it's because we're not doing this and that, Mr. Speaker, the cost of living, I can tell you we are committed to reduce the cost of living. We are committed. Because all these actions, there's some level of revenue loss, Mr. Speaker, to the country. And the economy must be strong enough to be able to accept these revenue losses and continue to provide the goods and services to the people of this country, Mr. Speaker. So I want to commend this amendment to the Parliament, and ask that and thank the merchants, and hope that they can pass it on to the consumers of this country, or they should pass it on, and I'm sure they will pass it on, Mr. Speaker, because this country belongs to all of us, Mr. Speaker. The country has taken a decision. The country has set the direction it wants to go. There is no maybe or might or must or probably or don't know. The country has taken a decision that it wants to go in that direction. It wants to follow that policies. It wants to follow. That is the country's decision. So all of us, we are ready to move forward together to work with everyone in this country so that we can progress and this country can become the best place to live and work in the region. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, the question is that Parliament, by affirmative resolution, approves the draft value-added tax amendment of Schedule 2 order, which amends Schedule 2 of the Act in Item 2CC to delete as exempt supplies the goods under the following custom tariff headings: backs and necks of the fowls of the species Gallus domesticus frozen, wings of fowls of the species Gallus domesticus frozen, other cuts of the meat of the species Gallus domesticus frozen, potatoes other than seed potatoes, fresh or chilled, tomatoes, fresh or chilled, onions, fresh or chilled, garlic, fresh or chilled, cabbages, fresh or chilled, carrots, fresh or chilled, other edible roots, fresh or chilled, cucumber, fresh or chilled, celery, other than celeriac, fresh or chilled, pumpkins, fresh or chilled, okras, fresh or chilled, lentils, dried, shelled, whether or not skinned or split, pigeon peas, dried, shelled, whether or not skinned or split, avocados, fresh or dried, mangoes, fresh or dried, oranges, fresh or dried, lemons, fresh or dried, limes, fresh or dried, watermelons, fresh, pawpaws, fresh, canned tuna in containers more than 6 ounces, canned tuna in containers 6 ounces or less, and canned mackerel in containers 200 grams or less. The member for Library.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, once again, I wish to make a brief intervention to this Honorable House on the amendment to Schedule 2 of the value-added tax that is before us for approval. Let me state categorically from the outset, Mr. Speaker, that this amendment does not introduce VAT on the goods listed, nor does it increase the VAT burden on consumers. I want to make that very clear, Mr. Speaker. The goods identified in the resolution are already zero-rated for VAT purposes. This means that they are taxable supplies charged at the rate of 0%, and VAT is not applied at the point of sale. The amendment before Parliament is therefore not a matter of imposing new taxes, Mr. Speaker, but one of legislative consistency and proper classification. Under the VAT framework, zero-rated supplies are taxable supplies charged at 0%, while exempt supplies, as the Prime Minister indicated, are non-taxable supplies on which no VAT is charged and for which input VAT cannot be recovered. It is neither necessary, Mr. Speaker, nor appropriate for the same goods to be treated simultaneously as both zero-rated and exempt. Such duplication creates uncertainty in the law, administrative inefficiencies for customs and inland revenue, and confusion for importers, wholesalers, and retailers, Mr. Speaker. This amendment accordingly removes the listed goods from Schedule 2 as exempt supplies precisely because they are already treated as zero-rated supplies elsewhere in the VAT framework. The practical effect of this amendment, Mr. Speaker, is straightforward. Consumers will continue to pay no VAT on these goods. Businesses will continue to apply VAT at 0%. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, suppliers remain entitled to recover input VAT, which is a key feature of zero-rated supplies and not of exempt supplies. This is therefore a technical and housekeeping amendment that improves clarity, strengthens administration, Mr. Speaker, and preserves the integrity of the VAT system. Mr. Speaker, as I prepare to close, I must accentuate that this House is not being asked to approve a new tax measure, but to endorse a legislative adjustment that aligns the law with existing policy. Mr. Speaker, I have said time and again in this Honorable House that sometimes good policies could be frustrated by poor legislation, and therefore the alignment would be absolutely necessary to ensure that we allow progressive policies to have the full impact in the country. I therefore commend this resolution to the House for approval, and at this juncture, Mr. Speaker, I will fulfill my promise of being brief, and I shall now yield the floor, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Finance Minister, would you wish to add anything?
No, Mr. Speaker, I wish that I would thank members for understanding, and let's move on for the people to benefit.
Honourable members, the question is that Parliament, by affirmative resolution, approves the draft value-added tax amendment of Schedule 2 order, which amends Schedule 2 of the Act, Item 2, CC, to delete as exempt supplies the goods under the following customs tariff headings: backs and necks of the fowls of the species Gallus domesticus frozen, wings of fowls of the species Gallus domesticus frozen, other cuts of the meat of the species Gallus domesticus frozen, potatoes other than seed potatoes, fresh or chilled, tomatoes, fresh or chilled, onions, fresh or chilled, garlic, fresh or chilled, cabbages, fresh or chilled, carrots, fresh or chilled, other edible roots, fresh or chilled, cucumber, fresh or chilled, celery other than celeriac, fresh or chilled, pumpkins, fresh or chilled, okras, fresh or chilled, lentils, dried shelled, whether or not skinned or split, pigeon peas, dried shelled, whether or not skinned or split, avocados, fresh or dried, mangoes, fresh or dried, oranges, fresh or dried, lemons, fresh or dried, limes, fresh or dried, watermelons, fresh, pawpaws, fresh, canned tuna in containers more than 6 ounces, canned tuna in containers 6 ounces or less, canned mackerel in containers 200 grams or less. I now put the question: as many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Bills, Minister for Finance.
I beg to move for first reading a bill shortly entitled Land and House Tax Amendment.
Land and House Tax Amendment.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move for the suspension of Standing Order number 48-2 to enable this bill to go through its remaining stages at this sitting.
Honourable members, the question is that Standing Order 48-2 be suspended in order to allow the Prime Minister and Minister for Finance to proceed with the remaining stages of the bill at this sitting. I now put the question: as many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Leave is granted. Please proceed, Finance Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this amendment to the Land and House Tax, Amendment, Mr. Speaker, is to amend the Land and House Tax Bill, and it is basically, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that Section 7 of the bill is being amended, Mr. Speaker. And what that means, Mr. Speaker, it means simply that the citizens of St. Lucia will pay no residential house tax for the year 2026, Mr. Speaker. Again, Mr. Speaker, more relief for the people of St. Lucia. And I know there are people who will be very pleased, Mr. Speaker, because, Mr. Speaker, I'll tell you, the people of St. Lucia have paid no residential house tax from 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and now 2026. That is, so we are extending it for 1 more year till 2026, Mr. Speaker. For the support and for the relief of the tax burden for the people of St. Lucia. So when you heard a refrain that we are heavily taxed, Mr. Speaker, this again is not really true, Mr. Speaker. It's not really true because everyone, no matter what size of house you have, will not be paying any house tax, Mr. Speaker, for another year. No matter where you live, no matter what size of house you have, you will not be paying any tax, Mr. Speaker. Further example of the government trying to ease the strain on the people of this country. A very simple amendment, Mr. Speaker, but far-reaching effects, and I want to ask this Honourable House to support this amendment. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, the question is that the Land and House Tax Amendment Bill be read a second time. Member for Labrie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, Mr. Speaker, I promise that I shall be very, quite parsimonious in responding, in responding to the bill. I shall conclude with lightning rapidity. Mr. Speaker, I must indicate very clearly that I support fully the Land and House Tax Amendment Bill. And I do so with a clear focus, Mr. Speaker, on what this bill means for St. Lucian families and households across our country. At the heart of this bill, Mr. Speaker, is a simple but powerful principle. The family home should not become a source of financial distress. By extending the waiver of residential property tax to include the year 2026, this government is continuing a policy that has been in place, one that deliberately shields families from an additional layer of taxation on the homes in which they live, raise children, and care for elderly relatives. For many St. Lucians, Mr. Speaker, the family home is the single most important asset, often built over many years, sometimes generations. This bill recognizes this reality. Residential property tax is a direct household cost. By extending this exemption, families retain more of their disposable income and are better able to meet essential expenses such as food, utilities, education, and healthcare. Vulnerable households, Mr. Speaker, including pensioners and fixed income earners, are also protected from the risk of accumulating tax arrears. This measure is particularly important at a time when families continue to face cost of living pressures and broader economic uncertainty. It is a global reality that we are navigating as a small, open, and vulnerable economy, some harsh external currents. And basically, the type of policies that have been put in place in this country will help cushion the impact. And so people even feel they're living in a first world economy, Mr. Speaker, sometimes, because we are managing the economy properly whilst easing the squeeze on the people of this country. This measure is particularly important at a time when families continue to grapple with the objective reality of providing for their loved ones. And this government of compassion will do any and everything, Mr. Speaker, within the parameters of the law and in keeping with sound economic management to ensure, Mr. Speaker, that the people can survive while the government collects revenues to finance its expenditure. The continuation of the residential property tax waiver provides reassurance, stability, and predictability for households across the country, Mr. Speaker. The bill also reflects responsible and targeted fiscal policy. The exemption applies specifically to residential property, ensuring that relief is directed to ordinary households while maintaining the overall structure of the land and house tax system. Ultimately, this amendment demonstrates that tax policy is not only about revenue, but about people, It reflects a family-centered approach to governance and a commitment to easing the burden on those who form the backbone of our country. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the Land and House Tax Amendment Bill 2025 supports St. Lucian families in a direct and meaningful way. It protects the family home, reduces household financial pressure, and reinforces the government's people-centered approach. I therefore commend this bill to this honorable House, Mr. Speaker, and of course invite my colleagues to go along with the Prime Minister in adopting it. Mr. Speaker, I yield the floor, and as I do so, I want to wish my constituents of Labrie Auger the very best for the season and effect a positive entry into 2026. And we collectively are going to continue the development of our constituency, because leadership is just one part of the equation. Collective leadership is also important. And therefore, the collective effort of my constituents, I'm sure, will continue to propel our constituency forward. And whilst we replicate that in all the other constituencies, we'll have a stronger country and a better people. I yield the floor at this juncture, Mr. Speaker.
Anything from you, Minister of Finance? Honourable members, the question is that the Land and House Tax Amendment Bill be read a second time. I now put the question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
An act to amend the Land and House Tax Act, Chapter 15.13.
Clause 2.
Amendment of Section 7.
Clause 2 stands part of the bill. Clause 1.
Short title.
Clause 1 stands part of the bill. Honourable members, the question is that the committee rises and the bill be reported. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Honourable members, I beg to report that the Land and House Tax Amendment Bill went through committee stage without amendments. Finance Minister.
Sorry. Mr. Speaker, I move that the report of the committee be adopted and the bill be read a third time and passed.
Honourable members, the question is that the report of the committee be adopted and that the Land and House Tax Amendment Bill be read a third time and passed. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Be it enacted by the King's Most Excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the House of Assembly and the Senate of St. Lucia, and by the authority of the same as follows. This Act may be cited as the Land and House Tax Amendment Act 2025.
Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I beg that this House stands suspended. Adjourned, sorry, Senate aye.
Honourable members, the question is that this House stand adjourned sine die. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. Sitting adjourned.
All rise.
We're starting.
Eh bien, nous venons au bout de session Caille Concite, ça c'est un branche parlement Caille Concite qui finit aujourd'hui. C'est comme on dit, c'était une journée spéciale et en parlement. Pour ça c'est la première session, 13e parlement Saint-Lucie. Et bien aujourd'hui, on a fini de discuter d'émotions et qu'à ce ça fait 20 pour Saint-Lucie. Comme ça, peut-être c'est parlement ni pour le gouvernement permission pour faire quelques changements et bien rien comme ça à se battre. Et bien, c'était pour déclarer journée. Ça c'est journée 22 décembre, en journée côté Adam. Et nous pour dire ça bien sérieux, c'est Adam, c'est un marchandise qui pracaille s'appelle Vatassu et aussi ça nous aussi c'est pièce qualité service. Je pracaille ça pièce qualité service mon payer tel qu'on le par exemple peut-être côté payer pour avocat, service avocat et bien côté où pour payer pour service peut-être pour faire chiver avec bagage sans zone et pour payer VAT ça c'est bagage ça là continuer à payer VAT puisqu'il n'y a pas de VAT à ce ça. Vous dites là nous plusieurs l'autre bagage ça dit mais ça ou même.
Yes, well this was what I think many people were waiting for, the much anticipated VAT-free day. As Michael said, it's been declared as December 22nd and we just saw that the motion was passed in Parliament to allow for the VAT exemption of certain goods. It is only for goods as was stipulated. It won't be on services. As Michael just said, most of those goods of course is food items, but also it will also include electronic items like stoves, furniture, and other equipment. There was an appeal from the newly elected parliamentarian for Choiseul, who made a very first contribution on that particular motion, and he encouraged and implored the business sector and the merchants, to cooperate with the government to really bring relief for the people. He implored them that they should not, increase the base price of the commodities to recoup some kind of profit. So all in all, this was what happened there with the passage of the motion for the VAT-free holiday. Just to repeat again, it won't be, the VAT-free won't be included for alcoholic drinks, on vehicles, on guns and ammunition, and on tobacco products. But everything else, the goods, mostly food items, you will be able to get a reduction of 12.5% on most of these goods. So there you are, the Prime Minister and his cabinet bringing some early Christmas cheer to St. Lucians, and it is something I know that was keenly anticipated and would be very much welcomed. The last bill which came up prior to the suspension or to the adjournment of the House was an amendment to the land and house tax, and basically what this does is to extend the residential house tax, the exemption of residential house tax into 2026. As you know, Michael, the government had already, erased house tax from 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and the government has done, through this bill, has just extended it to another year for 2026.
D'accord. Et quand un dernier bail m'avait dit à ce bien concerné et puis les affaires en VAT là, et comprenez le ministre l'a dit, c'est pas seul côté qui a même bagage ça là yo mentionné Jamaïque, Barbade et puis l'autre pays en région qui j'ai fait même bagarre. Comme mon niveau pour prendre, c'est pas un bagage Saint-Lucie seulement qu'a fait. Et l'autre bagage encore, on veut dire, c'est qu'il n'est pas obligé, tout business pas obligé accepter VAT. C'est business qui est intéressé et qui registre, qui ça chaîne ça. Ça veut dire délai, peut-être ou pas ça, moun pas ça aller n'importe côté. Et quoi, si c'est moun n'a pas dit, il pas un bagage VAT ça là, il pas accepter pièce VAT. Avant 20 journées, moun pas ni pour bader, c'est conseillé. Le Premier ministre a demandé pour comprendre manière il a passé.
Yes, this is a good point that needs to be reiterated. Before you go out there, please ensure that the business places that you're going to purchase your items are actually participating in the VAT-free day. It is very important that you clarify this before you go in to make your purchase.
Premier bagage pour demander avant d'aller faire pièce business, demander est-ce que vous participer avant. Eh bien, je veux dire, en l'autre journée intéressante, mais nous avons espéré pour commencer l'autre session, ça c'est bon Sénat là, qui a commencé tout à l'heure, avec, nous avons discuté exactement ça qui passait en cas de là, mais nous avons dévié pour un petit moment pour les Sénat là qui a commencé.